Hi everyone, today Wawaka wants to know why he got wrong for this question and I'm gonna explain to him. So the question says you have 3 fair 6-sided dice and you roll all 3 of them at once until all 3 of them show the same number. What is the probability that you have to try 3 or more times? And he picked 215 over 216 square, which is actually a good sign to me, because it kind of shows that you understand that having to try 3 or more times means you fail the first 2 times, right? So essentially, you are just, because like each row is independent, essentially, you have to find the probability that you fail a row, the first row times the probability that you fail the second row, which is basically the probability that you fail a row square. Okay, so you kind of get that idea. It's just that you make a little tiny mistake about the probability that you fail in a row, which is fine. Okay, so let's look at the probability that you fail in a row. And oh yeah, another thing that I think you kind of got is that you have to use complement rule, which is the probability that you fail is basically 1 minus the probability that you succeed, right? Which in this case is just 1 minus probability that you that all 3 of them are the same. And I know this because you picked 215 over 216, which is like 1 minus 1 over 216. And the reason why you picked that is probably because like a lot of people make this mistake, which is that you think, oh, there are 3 dice, so the sample space should be 6 cubed, right? And out of those 216 possibility, only one of them satisfy that all 3 of them have the same number, which is good. Like, and you thought about the complement rule, and that is really, really good. Okay. And so your tiny little mistake is about the probability that all of them are the same. Okay. So let me just write it down. Probability that all same. Okay. So actually there are like 2 ways to think about this. Let me use your logic that we have like 3 dice and therefore the sample space is like 216, right? And out of those 216 only, okay, so out of those 216, how many of them satisfy the event that 3 of them have the same number? It's actually 6 over 216 instead of 1 over 216. Why? Because, okay, let's say you have like 1 over 216 and you should multiply by 6 because you can have all 3 of them to be 1, all 3 of them to be 2, all 3 of them to be 3, and so on and so forth, and all 3 of them to be 6. Therefore, you need to multiply by 6, which means it is like 1 over 36. And this will give you 1 minus 1 over 36, which is 35 over 36, and then you square it, which is the first answer. So another way that you could think about this is that you could fix the first dice. You fix the first die, and that means that whether you get all 3 of them are the same or not depends on only 2 dice. That makes your sample space 6 squared, which is 36. And out of those 36 possibility, only one of them is the event that the remaining 2 dice have the same number as the first die. And then again, using the complement rule that you already know, it's just 1 minus 1 over 36, which is 35 over 36, and square it because you need to fail 2 times. Okay. So yeah, I can see this question being a little bit tricky, especially like there are like kind of like 3 key components that you have to be careful about. If you mess up one of them, you probably will end up in some other options here. Okay, so I hope that you know why you got this wrong, and please don't go to the gambler, okay? Be a good duck.